What's up, big fella? Welcome back to Fat Loss Audit, where we go over your eating and how to improve it using food swaps and volume eating to make your weight loss journey sustainable. Today, we're working with Carlos, and from the jump, Carlos does start off by saying this is his diet, but he is preparing for a bodybuilding show in late September. He did use the word prep, but I do want to preface that the word prep means that you are actually in prep phase of bodybuilding, and that's usually only about 12 to 16 weeks sometimes. So he isn't in prep. He's still losing weight. He's still on a successful weight loss journey, but he plans on being on a bodybuilding stage in September. Carlos is 23 years old, and he has gone from 350 pounds to 236 pounds in the span of about a year. So that adds up to almost 120 pounds lost in a year. He plans on competing on this show in September at 190 pounds. So already from the jump, this is going to be somebody who knows what they're doing, knows the food swaps they're making. Let's dive in and see if there's anything else we can do to help. Starting with breakfast, we're keeping it incredibly simple. 2 great value Greek yogurts and 2 string cheeses. If you follow me for any platform, you know that I am obsessed with eating Greek yogurt on the regular. It's one of my favorite breakfasts of all time. And the cheese is actually a much smarter play than most people think. Not only is the string cheese incredibly convenient and very affordable, but it's also going to be some source of fat. Throughout bodybuilding as a whole, fat is something that is extremely important, and the most experienced bodybuilders do a really good job of maintaining their fat levels efficiently. If you don't get enough fat, when we're in a weight loss world, we're always talking about burning fat, eating low-fat foods, even though dietary fat and body fat are 2 different things. We're always talking about eating reduced fat or low-fat items to save on calories. And while, yes, the average gram of fat has 9 calories per gram, which is higher than both protein and carbs, which are 4 calories per gram. While fats are higher calorie for this reason, we still need to eat fat every day because fat is essential for cell production and for hormone regulation. I used to eat extremely low fat for my fat loss journey, and I completely tanked my testosterone levels. That is not something that we want for you. So Carlos is already starting off very strong, getting a little bit of fat in and a lot of protein at the very beginning of his day. Lunch, he has measured out down to the gram. 140 grams of ground beef, 150 grams of egg whites, 120 grams of potatoes, I'm assuming just white potatoes, 50 grams of fat-free cheese, and then he uses mustard and ketchup. Now, this is about as bodybuildery as it gets. Starting from the top, 93.7 ground beef. It is still a solid fat source, even though it is a leaner cut of ground beef. You're saving the calories, but still getting quality fat. Obviously, a ton of protein. Egg whites, quite literally just liquid protein. Liquid egg whites are quite literally just a liquefied protein source. On their own, they taste absolutely horrendous, but when you're pairing it stuff like ground beef and potatoes, it actually congeals pretty well and makes more of a solid scramble style of a meal. And I like how he threw 50 grams of fat-free cheese on here. He's already got high protein from egg whites and ground beef, but throwing the fat-free cheese to melt over top adds a lot of really quality flavor for not that many calories and get some quality protein in as well. And keeping the rhythm of low-calorie mustard and ketchup. Mustard, 0 calories. Ketchup, 10 or 20 calories depending on what kind you get. Insanely low calories for extra flavor. There is nothing we can really do to make this meal leaner outside of switching the ground beef for like something like ground chicken or ground turkey and pushing those percentages even further from 93.7 to like 99.1 ground turkey, which is very dry, by the way. For a pre-workout snack, he's got the pretty common 2 cereal bars, the Rice Krispie or a granola bar kind of mindset that a lot of gym goers will do. Quick, fast-acting carbs. For this, you could do a lot of different things for your pre-workout carbohydrates. As long as it's a simple carb, that's going to be what's most effective. You could do a cereal bar. You could do a little bit of candy. You could do fruit. Honestly, I don't mind the cereal bar choice because it does allow a little bit of sweetness and a little bit more of like a traditional fun food in there for his relatively strict diet. And then for dinner time, it's almost an exact replica of lunch. But on top of this, he adds 87 grams of chicken sausage or a lean deli meat to throw in even more protein to what he was already eating. And at the very end, he says his calories are about 2,200 with about 250 grams of protein, a very crazy ratio, and a minimum of 60 grams of fat per day. So overall, this is a very lean meal plan. This is a very lean day of eating. This is somebody that's clearly obviously lost 100 plus pounds, knows how a calorie deficit works, knows how strength training and protein works, is understanding of the importance of both protein, calories, but also making sure he's getting in his carbs pre-workout, his carbs post-workout, and getting the fats to make sure. He said he has a minimum of 60 grams of fat per day. So, to be honest, I'm suspecting that he honestly has a coach that he might be working with here. This looks like a very basic bodybuilding coach style meal plan that somebody would put on someone that is planning on going to a show. A lot of basic meals consisting of beef and potatoes, a lot of simple pre-workout carbohydrates, and measuring your fat content is something that a lot of good bodybuilding coaches will do to make sure that their hormone levels for their clients stay regular. But honestly, this is a very clinical, precise source of eating. And considering it is now December 2023 as I record this video and his show is in 9 months in September, he has about 45 pounds to lose in 9 months. Something at the rate he's currently going, he should not have to worry about hitting those numbers. And the one thing I would say is, he did say he is prepping for a bodybuilding show, but you are not going to do a 9-month prep. So if anything, I'm almost going to be doing the reverse of what I typically do in this series. We're going to kind of flip it on its head a little bit for a second. You are doing a phenomenal job using the food scale, hitting your protein goals, hitting your calorie and your fat goals, but I want to see a little bit more fun. Now, I'm sure this is just a typical day of eating. I think you're absolutely on the right track to getting to that bodybuilding stage at 190 in September. But one thing that I want you to keep in mind of is you are still relatively new to the weight loss game. And what I mean by that is you are a seasoned vet. You've lost 110 plus pounds. I'm well aware of that. But you started this journey November of last year. You've only been living this lifestyle for a year or two. Now, you may feel like you are going to be weighing every ounce of food that you eat for the rest of your life because that's just what you're used to, but 9 months is a very long time. And before you reach the actual 8-week, 12-week, 16-week prep for your bodybuilding show, which would start in obviously July or August, I encourage you to have a couple more fun foods in regulation. Keep them on deck. Keep a fun food in at least maybe, let's say, once a week. Maybe you do it as like your pre-workout snack. Maybe you have a donut or a little bit of ice cream. By doing this, it's increasing the amount of sustainability that you have within your diet, and it's going to decrease the risk of binging. Now, I honestly don't think you're in too much of a risk to binge during this phase, but what I'm more concerned about is how you live your life after that bodybuilding show in September. I don't want you to completely fall off the rails. I want you to develop a habit in keeping things fun and a little bit irregular every once in a while. Throw in a fun food once a week, twice a week to increase the enjoyment, increase the sustainability of how you eat, because 9 months is a long time. And yes, you've been kicking ass and taking names, but every once in a while, having a fun food definitely won't hurt. So, not typically what you would expect from a fat loss audit episode, but Carlos is absolutely kicking ass. He sent a very good, solid, detailed form of eating, and he's clearly seen a ton of success. Let's drop W Carlos in the comments below because he has seen some phenomenal progress, and I'm incredibly proud of him. As far as food swaps go, he's eating potatoes, egg whites, ground beef, and fat-free cheese. There's really not much I can do as far as food swaps actually to reduce the calories any further than he already has. If anything, I would just find ways to incorporate different sources of fat. Maybe throw in some whole eggs as your fat sources and switch things up a little bit. Egg yolks, especially as you get further into a bodybuilding career, taste like heaven. And that pretty much comes to a close for this episode of Fat Loss Audit. He's already seen a ton of success. Carlos is kicking ass, taking names. He's very precise. Honestly, the only changes I would make is rotating a little bit of fun food in there every once in a while to keep it sustainable, because 9 months is a long time, and obviously you can lock in to a whole nother level when prep time does come there in August and July before your bodybuilding show. But I am fully confident that you will be able to hit that 190 scale weight, no problem. Incredibly proud of you. If you're watching this video and you want me to break down your full day of eating to help improve your fat loss journey, the email will be in the top of the description of this video, bigfellafitness01@gmail.com. Include your age, your goals, and a breakdown of what you're trying to accomplish with your eating. If you haven't checked out the first video, I would highly recommend doing so. It's going to be recommended at the end of this video and also right here at the top. This is a really fun series that I'm thoroughly enjoying writing, and I have plenty more emails to go through, but I encourage you to send your full days of eating so I can help you as well. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Give someone you love a hug and keep it simple, big fella.